The couch co-op carnage genre, as I continue to call it, is expanding and growing and impressing me personally over time as the Overcookedian ways are repatented into new formulas. Get Packed Fully Loaded is the latest game in this genre to be released. It came out last week, and I have had an absolute blast playing it, initially thinking that this would be really, really similar to Moving Out. And the reason for that is because both games follow you being removal men, taking various different objects from the levels, putting them in the van, and getting them packed and away. What I was really pleased with, though, is that the more that I played Get Packed Fully Loaded, the more it distinguished itself out from the rest of the crowd, and the more playable and funny I found that it was as you went through each of the levels. The game's 1 to 4 players, locally or online, and what I really liked about it, although you're primarily seeing 2-player gameplay here, is that as you get more players, the scoring for clearing certain stars expands, and there's also a weight difference that slightly expands as you have more players playing. What I mean by that is that you control each of your characters with the left analog stick, but then you use the triggers for your left and right arms. And that basically means that you can grab onto either 2 small things or use both your hands together on something big and heavy to try and drag it around. The more people that you then put on the bigger and heavier objects, the quicker that they'll lift. But obviously the more co-op carnage that you'll have when you're not coordinated in any way, shape or form. The other really cool feature that Get Packed brings along to the genre is that you can, whilst you're holding something with both of your hands, press a certain button to flat pack it. And what that means is that you can get a sofa that is going to be absolutely massive, especially one of those corner sofas, flat pack it down into a little box and then chuck it on the van so that the van, once it's full, you can then send on its way. These flat pack things have a cooldown on them, so you have to be strategic about how you're going to use them. But what I really liked about Get Packed Fully Loaded is that each of the levels it's free for all around what you can try and flat pack and what you can try and get in that van, because the levels get more and more wild and stupid as you continue on through the game, and lends itself to its humour, cartoonishness, and over-the-top gravity bounce ability that you'll have. Your characters as well will also have a jump button, a dash button, and a Ragdoll mode button, which I only found useful when you'd cause some carnage and you just wanted to Ragdoll it so that you'd be like splattered somewhere. For instance, there's a level where you're in a warehouse and then there's forklift truck racing going on, and you'll get a little sounded alarm when they're all coming through. But if you get spanked by them, you'll kind of fly off everywhere. You can try and grab onto them and hang on for dear life. But if you go into Ragdoll mode, you kind of fling off to the side and might splatter a wall, but it may cause you less monetary damage. And that's because all the damage that you give in the main story, at least, goes against your main totals, because your main total in the way how you pass 1, 2 or 3 stars per level is for putting enough stuff into the van and then sending it off and away. There's constantly in the bottom left or right hand side of the screen preferred things that you need to pack, and that's normally something that whoever's the owner of the level that you're in will kind of determine. They're on a timer, so you need to kind of get them in and then send it on its way. So again, there's more strategy around trying to get that monetary value up so that you can get 1, 2 or 3 stars. Get 1 star and you go on to the next level and unlock that for free play mode. And then what I really liked about Get Packed Fully Loaded is that once you've completed a level in the normal story mode, you unlock 2 other modes as well. The first is time attack mode, which is where it's a constant timer going down, and it's basically survival mode. So you need to keep packing objects into your van. If you don't pack them within the time limit, the time keeps decreasing. So the more that you put in, the time it increases as you go along, keeps you alive. The other mode is damage mode, or destruction mode, I should say. And this is just to cause as much monetary damage as possible and don't put anything in the van whatsoever. And this is good fun because what you can do is kind of spin around your character on the spot, just holding out one of your arms and like smashing a TV into a window. Or what I was doing quite often was just using my dash into a lot of the objects, because the way how objects destruct in this game is a little bit odd, but it makes sense in the grander scheme of things. So if, say, you've got a bed and you're going to try and smash that up, it smashes into 4 smaller cubes, but you can, depending on how you smack it, break away just a quarter of the bed, and then the other 3/4 is still there as like one full object. So that will cause a little bit of monetary damage, but then if you pick it up and like smash it around again, the more bits that you bring something into, the more money that you get from it. Obviously, if you throw it through a window, it's double bubble. And that's good fun, and the physics work really well for that. My only kind of minor complaint around it is that sometimes the physics aren't always consistent. So you might just be running towards the van and you might clip a wall, and then that might smash something like a TV, and you'll be like, $200 damage. And you're thinking, no. Whereas you might then pick it up and then like swing it round up against a wall and it won't do anything at all. And so there is a little bit of at odds physicsness. But because the game is so funny and stupid, I have to say it was on the right side of being woolly, if that makes sense, because more often than not, it worked fine. One of the best things about Get Packed Fully Loaded is its level variety, though, and its humour that it brings along with it. So initially, this is all about people trying to find a new job because their town is going through an economic crisis. Oh, ye pandemic fun. And then what happens is that they inadvertently start becoming robbers. So they end up like taking on the industries that are taking over the town, like one big company, and raiding their warehouses. Then they end up in like museums, and you've got guards in that you need to kind of avoid whilst you are trying to lift everything out of the museum into your removal van. Then it gets like more ridiculous, where you're dealing with like a supermarket riot and policemen come out and they'll just truncheon you round the head. Obviously, you can also pick up things and spank them round the head back as well, but you want to pick up things that won't cause you monetary damage. And it's all of this like little extra nuance and stupidity and humour and character that makes Get Packed Fully Loaded such a fun experience. The game itself in story mode can be completed in just around the 2-hour mark. But what I would say to that is that after that, you've then got 18 levels where you can go about doing the co-op side of stuff. There's an additional 10 levels that you've got that are purely versus levels. And this is where you are trying to beat your other players by having removal vans separately and going nuts versus each other. Almost all the gameplay that you're seeing here is in the normal co-op level mode, because what I wanted to do was show you the vast level design and like trying to stick weird and wonderful secret things in your van, like a Buzz Aldrin statue, a dinosaur head, little alien. You can kind of lock him up and take him away. Half the fun of going back and replaying these levels, we found, was trying to find all of the little secrets and hidden things that are bespoke to one level only that you don't then find again elsewhere. And so what that does is make every level feel unique and interesting and special, and bring along its own gameplay mechanic to it, which I think a lot of other of these kind of couch co-op carnage games could really think about when they're going into level design. Having a different colour or a reskin is fine, but it doesn't bring extra gameplay elements to it, which is what Get Packed Fully Loaded does for each of its levels, and I can't praise that enough. So I have to say that I had an absolute blast playing this game. With the 3 people that I've played this with over different gameplay periods, 2 of the other ones had also played Moving Out and absolutely referenced it earlier on, as did I. But as the more we played it, the 3 of us all started to realise that actually you can enjoy and play and own and really love both of them, because they do a very nuanced difference to the same type of gameplay. So if you've got Moving Out, you'll like Get Packed Fully Loaded, but there's room for both, I would say. And it's not a which one is better, it's that what they kind of do slightly different things, but to equal aplomb. A written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com. You'll be seeing plenty more of this gameplay in future videos where I do Good Luck Have Fun Game Battlers and other multiplayer shenanigans, because this one is going to be a mainstay for me on my local and online multiplayer fun fests. You guys take care. Any questions, leave them down below. Bye for now.
See me walking around the back of the alien. Oh, decapitated him.
Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.